Welcome to this video. It's called flop or a prop. This is because I haven't been happy with the driving characteristics of my boat, and after doing some mathematical calculations that I could not possibly get wrong, I have decided that I'm not using the correct prop. So I bought another prop for $250. So it may not work, which will be the flop, or it may work, which is the prop. If you can understand my stupidity there. Now, when I first started watching YouTube, I was seeing videos titled unboxing something, and I thought surely somebody wouldn't make a video of somebody just taking something out of a box. But that's exactly what they did. They made a video of somebody taking something out of the box. I didn't realise people could get their rocks off watching somebody take something out of a box, but however, if you have a taking something out of the box fetish, this bit of the video is for you. So here we go. Are we ready? Look at that. Do I make you horny, baby? Look, I'm just going to take it out. I'm not going to do this. I'm a prop teaser. Okay, so that's my new prop. It's a 14-inch pitch as opposed to the 10-inch pitch I had before, which should change the characteristics of the boat, hopefully in the direction that I wanted. So let's go down the shed and install the new prop. Here I am. I've just taken the old prop off. Now there is an update to my story. I worked out that the mathematics came to using very close to a 13-inch prop, but I thought I'll go up to 14 anyway. But in the end, the 14-inch prop was not in stock, so I had to take a 13-inch. So I'm now going to install the 13-inch prop. I've just put some grease on the spline shaft, so there's no problem there. I'll just jab a bit more on. I tend to over grease things really, but that's what it is. I think it's better to be over greased than under greased. And slip that on the washer and the nut. And we do that up to the recommended torque setting. Which we then normally have to change to get the split pin in. There we go. But as I said, the split pin doesn't line up. So we've got to bring it back a tad. Or could make it a tad tighter. Let's have a look. No, I think we'd have to go looser. I don't know why they do that. Give you a torque setting and then you can't get the split pin in. There we have it. And I've got a brand new split pin. This is called a split pin. It's a pin with a split in it. I've heard several people refer to them as cotter pins. I suppose you could refer to them as cotter pins now, because I haven't seen a cotter pin for years. A cotter pin is a round, what would you call it? It's like a dowel that goes through a shaft, and it's round and it's got a tapered flat on it and a thread on the end, and that matches up with the tapered flat on the inside. How they machine that, I don't know. Used to find them on bicycle pedals, but never mind. It is a split pin. It's a pin with a split in it. It's not a cotter pin, but you can call it whatever you like. We can now shove that through the hole. When you're bending a split pin open, a lot of people go crazy with the damn things and bend them up. Well, that's all you need. The split pin is not going to fall out. You don't need to bend it all over. The only time you need to bend it over is when you're working on wheels of a car. Wheels of a trailer, and you put the cap on the top. If you don't bend the split pin out of the way, it will fail the cap. So you've really got to bend out of the way. But just get the pin out at 45 degrees. That's all it needs. It's not going to fall out. And bending it more is not going to make it less fall-outable. If that, of course, is a word. So there we go. So we're using a 13-inch prop rather than a 14-inch, which is probably what I should have done in the first place. So the next thing to do is take it out for a trial run, and tomorrow, so far, the weather's looking good. Although the Weather Bureau likes to change their mind at the last minute. But never mind. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I tried to do a speed test with the camera on the GPS, which shows you the speed, but unfortunately the boat's bouncing around all over the place. So you'll have to take my word for it, the speed I'm doing. Now, if you remember before, the boat was getting to about 6.5 knots and then just shooting straight up to 15 knots. So I just want to take off slowly now. Okay. You can hear by the outboard we're taking off. Now the inner harbour we do about 5 knots, which has never been a problem for me. I'm now doing 5.5 knots, 4.7. Because of the waves and the swell, I'm sort of going back and forwards over 5 knots. In the harbour there won't be so much swell. Then I get out of the inner harbour, and some reaches of our river system we can do 8 knots. So I'm now just going to shoot up to 8 knots, which I've never been able to do before. Now doing 6.5, 6.7 knots, 7.2. So I've never been able to do this speed before. Now I'm 7.9, 7.8, 7.7. So because of the swell, I'll be going backwards and forwards around 8 knots. But I've never been able to do 8 knots in this boat before. So instead of slowly going above 8 knots with the swell behind us, 9.5, now I'm going up to 10 knots. And once again, I've never gone at 10 knots before. So I just shot up to 11. But see, this is a nice cruising speed, is actually what I wanted. So I'm actually going with the swell at the moment. So I'm doing 9.5, 9.6. As I said, this is beautiful. I've never been able to do this before. Always been straight up to 15. Now sort of caught up with the waves a bit. I'm doing 11.9, 12. That's fantastic. So I don't know what speed I'd go to when the boat starts taking off by itself again. So we'll just see what speed we're getting up to. So we're doing 13 now, which is starting to get really hammery. That's 14. That's 15, what it used to do before, but now it's very uncomfortable to ride. And that's the problem I had before. was just bouncing around all over the place. So this so we're just reducing in speed again now, and I'll head in back towards the harbour. My throttle lever seems a bit on the stiff side. I don't know if I want to loosen it. We're doing 12 knots now. That's the radio going. I'm doing 12 knots now, 11.8, 11.9. I've never been able to do that before, but it's a nice cruising speed. It's beautiful now. So I'll just head on back to the harbour. I reckon $250 well spent. Fantastic, I love it. Just a beautiful, we're doing 12 knots now, just a nice cruising speed, not being hammered around by the waves. So that's it, I'll see you back at the ranch. So you can see by my excitement when I was on the water, everything's working fine. So all that's left now is for a Salty Pete handy hint. Welcome to Salty Pete's handy hint, or in this case, Salty Pete's piece of useless information. Sometimes you want to hold something in your vise, and you're trying to, especially if you want to cut something off, you're trying to get it square in the vise. So what I did was, I took the front jaw off my vise. So that means when I'm putting something into the vise, it just sits on that ledge. Very easy to undo without having to wiggle it around and trying to get it square. So that's my little handy hint for this video. And so with that, it's the end of this video, and I shall see you in the next one, which will be coming out very shortly. The ocean life is what I like, it's where I want to be. Sailing through the rolling waves is the only life for me. I like the sea spray on my face and the beach sand on my feet. Everyone they call me Salty Pete, Salty Pete, Salty Pete.